The climate has been changing since the beginning of time. That is a scientific fact. People are not affecting climate change. You're going to tell me that back in the Ice Age, how much taxes did people pay and how many changes did governments make to melt the ice? The climate is going to continue to change. And there is no reason to just open up our borders and allow everyone in. Most people don't buy the climate hoax. It's a hoax.
If you didn't understand what point Marjorie Taylor Greene was trying to make there, neither do we. I mean, it was very hard. She said, the climate's always changed, that's a fact, and then spewed a bunch of nonsensical stuff strung together like she was doing a Mad Libs. She's presumably using climate denialism to bolster her case for blocking as many refugees and immigrants into the country as possible and tying it in as loosely and psychotically as she possibly could. She says that humans aren't affecting the climate. For the millionth time, let's take a look at just one out of many charts that immediately disproves her. So here you see the average climate since year zero. Since year zero, staying up and down in a very tiny range of 0.2 degrees Celsius, barely changing, dips a little bit, 0.2, 0.1 degree below, and then Industrial Revolution happens and boom, climate jumping more. 1991, 30 years ago, and 0.5 degrees Celsius cooler than it is today in just 25 years. And the planet warms another 1.1 degrees Celsius since then. That is major. And if you're not good at Celsius, that's more numbers in Fahrenheit. Several degrees already climbing. But Marjorie Taylor Greene says, well, you can't, it's all mixed together and you can't, and people coming in the border and climate changes, and I love the movie Ice Age. What are you talking about? The 10 warmest years on the historical record have all occurred since 2010. And not to be outdone by her comrades in idiocy in the Senate, one of the dumbest, Ron Johnson, stepped up to the plate and made an equally absurd claim. He was questioning an energy policy expert yesterday during a Senate Budget Committee hearing on healthcare costs related to climate change and argued that climate change is good for him.
Chart of years, somewhat comforting for at least America. When you take a look at the mortality risk, again, these are all projections. I don't put any stock in them whatsoever, but by your own projections throughout the United States, because of climate change, we're going to actually have a reduced risk of mortality. You're concerned if you're in the really hot region of Africa, but in terms of the United States and most of Europe, we're in pretty good shape. We're all blue.
Not only is it pretty racist to claim that we shouldn't worry about global warming if it only affects Africans, it's also totally wrong. It's definitely true that certain populations and places are more vulnerable to climate change and will bear the brunt of its impacts more, but it sure as hell isn't just the hot parts of Africa, as the expert tries to explain.
What I am familiar with is my study. Your characterization of it is incorrect.
Well, your study is very favorable to my state. Our mortality declines by 54 per 100,000.
Wisconsin will benefit in terms of mortality. There are 49 other states in the United States. Many of them will suffer. Many of them will suffer more than Wisconsin will gain. And that is the nature of climate change. It's very unequal.
And there's more to consider than just the temperature outside on a January day, even though all Ron Johnson cares about is, do I get reelected? If a few less people die in my state, everything's fine. We can kill the planet, right? Global sea level has risen about 8 inches since reliable record keeping began in 1880. By 2100, scientists project it will rise at least another foot, but possibly as high as 8 feet if we continue carbon emissions at our current rate, according to NASA. Some changes, such as droughts, wildfires, and extreme rainfall, are happening faster than scientists even previously assessed. In fact, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, modern humans have never before seen the observed changes in our global climate, and some of these changes are irreversible over the next hundreds to thousands of years. Also, according to NASA, but fear not, Wisconsin will be slightly warmer, so everything's fine.
Yeah, all right, so newsflash to Ron Johnson. Wisconsin, still on this planet. We're all on the same planet together.
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you.
Well, if they elected Ron Johnson, I do wonder. The fact that the Democrats couldn't beat this moron is yet another example of complete and utter incompetence. And yet, again, mainstream media will tell you Democrats are geniuses. They lost to this blithering idiot who goes on national TV and he's like, I mean, millions of Africans die, but hey, it's a little warmer in Wisconsin, you know what I'm saying? Cheese curds for everyone. You said it out loud, dude. You don't realize that's not a nice thing to say? And for the Republican voters, they're probably gonna think, yeah, what do you mean? I totally agree with him. I don't care about Africans at all, right? But it doesn't matter, we're all on the same planet. When the oceans rise and we have extreme weather events, it's not gonna be like, God's gonna be like, let's leave Wisconsin out of this, Ron was on our side. Okay? It's not how it works. They don't know anything about science, anything. I mean, what was that speech by Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's like, I think climate's a hoax. I don't believe you guys. And plus, open borders. Wait, but what does open borders have anything to do with climate change?
The fact is that people need air to breathe and also borders and brown people.
What does open borders have to do with climate change? It's just because she doesn't, Ben nailed it. It's Mad Libs. It's like, oh, we're gonna take our issues and be like, you know what, I don't even believe climate change, and I don't think it was bad. I think 99% of the world scientists are liars. And that's why we can't have abortion. It doesn't matter, it doesn't, that's why you should hate trans people. Okay, so they don't have two brain cells to rub between them, okay? So look, I hate that we have conversations humoring these people when they say things like climate change is not man-made. 99, let alone all the overwhelming evidence, including the things that Ben just showed you, 99% of the world scientists say, yeah, it is. So their theory is that it's a hoax, it's a conspiracy theory. Scientists from India and Brazil and Russia and America and Japan and Taiwan, they all got together and they're like, should we make something up? How fun would that be? What do you guys think we should make up? Oh, let's pretend that the temperature is rising. Okay, you guys are all gonna fix the thermometers in your neck of the woods? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. What a gag! When we release it on April Fool's Day, like a century from now, people are gonna think it's the biggest hoop. Okay, now everybody remember, all lie at the same time, all say that the temperature is going up, and that we caused it. I hope the conservatives don't figure it out though. Okay, I mean, if you think that that's true, you don't belong in Congress, you belong in an insane asylum. Very, very literally, you should want to get one of those white jackets, etc. You think you know better than 99% of the world's scientists? They also, by the way, all agree that gravity is real. Want to try it out, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ron Johnson? Yeah, it's a Chinese hoax, this gravity stuff. I'll show them.
And if you think it's warm now, do you know how much warmer it'll be when you're in a straitjacket? Super extra.
Okay, all right, and I have to say this, it's just for the folks at home. All right. Yes, there was an ice age. Yes, the climate sometimes goes up and down and without man being involved. So there's two parts of that. But sometimes we make it worse. Oh, both those things can be true. Oh, in fact, the charts show overwhelmingly that it is true. Yes, climate goes up and down very, very gradually usually on this planet. But now it's not gradual at all because of what we're doing. The scientists understand things like carbon and how it affects the ozone and other technical terms you don't know.
Well,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? And one more thing about that. Okay, so we can make it worse, right? But even if it wasn't us, guys, so let's take the example of when it happened suddenly. The best theory we have is that a giant meteor hit Earth and that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs and many other life forms on this planet.
Except somehow Ron Johnson survived, but go ahead.
Yeah. But Wisconsin, in great shape when the meteor hit, okay? Yep. So Ron was okay with it.
A little extra cozy in that cheese hat.
Yeah, and if humans were around back then and we weren't, but if we were, we would have all been wiped out. These guys are saying, well, we didn't cause this, so we don't do anything about it. But we're all gonna die anyway, so we gotta do something about it. If we were around when the meteor hit, we needed to do something. Otherwise, it's not gonna end well for anyone on this planet. including in Wisconsin.
Just because sometimes people die in fatal car crashes, according to their logic, means we should have no regulations on the road or speed limits, because we could also stop some people from dying not in catastrophic instant things. And so that's their belief system. But I happen to be lucky for all of you watching today. I happen to be an expert on ice ages, having played the voice of Marshall the Sloth in Ice Age Continental Drift. And I'd like to tell you that Marjorie Taylor Greene is cuckoo, and even a cuckoo clock is right twice a day, but hers is further broken and doesn't even when it's about to be right, it goes cuckoo and it kind of tilts itself. So you're welcome.
Little known fact, it's a fun fact about Ben Gleep's career. All right.
It literally makes me more of an expert on climate than Marjorie Taylor Greene by far.
There you go. And Ron Johnson.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.